Iran attacks. To what extent will Israel counterattack? Israeli people looked to buy food and went to the basement in fear when Iran attacked Israel. America shot down more than 70 Iranian WAVs and missiles attacking Israel. Iran retaliates against Israel. To what extent does Israel counterattack? Israel said Iran launched about 200 cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, and deployed more than 100 unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, to attack Israel on the evening of April 13. Iran has confirmed this raid, and this can be considered its retaliation against the Iranian embassy in Syria being attacked by an airstrike that Iran blames on Israel. This is the first time Iran has directly attacked Israel from Iranian territory. Iran's retaliation against Israel caused Israel's allies, including the United States, to dispatch military assets, including warships and fighters in the area, to protect Israel. According to the Telegraph, a key factor in what might happen next is the extent to which Israel and its allies can intercept Iranian missiles and UAVs. If only a handful of Iranian missiles or UAVs get past Israel's air defense system and strike a few military targets, perhaps in bases in the sparsely populated north, and Iran feels retaliation if such chopsticks are enough, the risk of a regional war breaking out will be reduced. And when there are casualties among civilians, soldiers, as well as large infrastructure losses, it will increase the scale of Israel's response. Furthermore, Iran launching missiles and UAVs from its territory is a very serious escalation. However, this will also give Israel and its allies time to identify and intercept. Mr. Danny Citrinowicz, a researcher at the Atlantic Council think tank and has worked in the Israeli Defense Intelligence Agency for 25 years, said that although Israel and the US warned Iran not to attack, it seems that the Iranian leaders realized that the cost of not attacking would be higher than the attack itself, because Iran had to restore its ability to deter and balance Israel. The consequences depend on the outcome of this attack. Assuming Israel, with the help of the US, intercepts most of the missiles and UAVs, it may allow Israel to respond appropriately so that the current conflict between the countries subsides, Mr. Citrinowicz said. On April 14, the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, said it had blocked the majority of Iran's ballistic missiles fired at Israel, according to the Times of Israel. According to the IDF, these missiles were shot down by the Arrow air defense system before they entered Israeli airspace. The IDF also said dozens of UAVs and cruise missiles launched from Iran were also shot down by fighter jets. The IDF announcement also said that some consequences of the attack had been preliminarily determined, one of which occurred at a military base in southern Israel, causing minor infrastructure damage. Thus, it can be seen that the damage caused by the attack is insignificant. This could prompt Israel to launch a similar response, including airstrikes on targets in Iran that are within Israeli range, such as military bases, such as the IRGC headquarters, or buildings government. At that time, the two sides could end their hostilities, because both felt they had shown their attitude clearly and were enough of a deterrent, according to the Telegraph. Many activities in Israel were cancelled while people were asked to take shelter amid Iran's large-scale attack on Israel. Residents in the city of Jerusalem were advised to take shelter indoors early on the morning of April 14 as Iran launched an unprecedented attack using missiles and drones, UAVs, targeting Israeli territory. Necessities are gone. According to AFP, multiple explosions rang out across the city, and the explosions turned the sky red. Many stores sold out of essential goods as people tried to stock up on food and water. You can see it's all empty. People are running home, said Eliyahu Barakat, a food store owner in Jerusalem, who said many people came to his store to buy water, food and other utensils. Normally we close at 1 o'clock, but now we are still open, he said. Mr. Michael Yuzin, a 52-year-old dentist who also lives in Jerusalem, said that his family took refuge together at his father-in-law's house after warnings from the army and authorities. They buy food that can be stored for a long time and are always ready to run to the bomb shelter. There will be no work tomorrow. Even meetings, everything is cancelled. Schools are also closed. I took my daughter with an important test scheduled for tomorrow, but now everything has been cancelled, he said. Yuzin shared. Meanwhile, residents in northern areas of Israel are fearful of the next attacks. I'm really afraid of war. This is serious. If I hear sirens, I don't know what to do. We live near the Lebanese border, said Mr. Summer Khalil, 52 years old, from the village of Mad el-Krum in the Galilee region said. I bought 30 bottles of water and those seem to be the last ones. The store had no more bottles of milk, Mr. Khalil said. According to the Israeli military, sirens sounded in the Golan Heights area after about 25 projectiles were launched from Lebanon. Previously, also on April 14, at least 10 rockets were launched from Lebanon to Israel. Has the attack passed? The Israeli military said Iran launched more than 200 UAVs and missiles during the attack and most of them were stopped before entering Israeli territory. Dozens of Israeli fighter jets are operating to prevent any threats from approaching from the air, AFP reported. According to the Times of Israel, the Israeli army has lifted the warning order requiring people to stay near bomb shelters, suggesting that Iran's attack has ended. 2 U.S. officials also commented that the attack appeared to have ended and estimated that Iran's campaign lasted about 5 hours. A hot international event is attracting the attention of the international community when Iran launched more than 100 UAV drones and missiles into Israel. Iran's attack was in response to Israel's airstrike on the Iranian consulate in Syria's capital Damascus. In this large-scale attack, the U.S. helped Israel intercept more than 70 drones and at least 3 ballistic missiles. Iran launched more than 100 UAVs to attack Israel. In many cities in Israel, sirens have appeared to warn of intruding objects. Many explosions erupted in the sky over Israel in many cities across the country, allegedly due to the interception of Iranian UAVs. About an hour after launching the UAV, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, launched its first ballistic missile deep into Israeli territory. Iran had previously announced that it would respond to Israel for the raid on the consulate in the Iranian embassy in Syria that killed 13 people, including 7 officials of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. According to information from U.S. officials, this force intercepted more than 70 drones and at least 3 ballistic missiles during Iran's attack on Israel. Iran's ballistic missiles were intercepted by U.S. warships in the eastern Mediterranean Sea. U.S. fighter jets also participated in the operation to help shoot down Iranian UAVs launched towards Israel. Responding to Iran's attack on Israeli territory in the early morning of April 14, leaders of many countries around the world continued to call for restraint from Iran and Israel. U.S. President Joe Biden had an emergency meeting with top security officials to review the situation and pledged to protect Israel at all costs against Iranian attacks. Meanwhile, United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres strongly condemned the current tensions between Iran and Israel, and expressed deep concern about the risk of escalation throughout the region. He called on all sides to exercise maximum restraint to avoid any actions that could lead to major military confrontations on many fronts in the Middle East.